On the morning of May 16th, 2008, a 14-year-old girl, Aarushi Talwar, has been found murdered in her own bedroom in Noida, India. At first, the police believed that it was Hemraj, and the reason why they believed that it was him because he was the one that was missing. But after 24 hours, Hemraj's body was discovered on the terrace of the same house. And from that moment onward, case spiraled into one of the most disturbing and controversial murder mysteries India has ever seen. Because the more the investigators looked into the family, the more stranger it became. Aarushi Talwar lived with her parents, Aarush and Nupur Talwar, in a well-respected middle-class family in Noida, India, that is near Delhi. Both of her parents were dentists, and from the outside they looked quite educated, successful and stable. Aarushi was described as intelligent, quiet, and she was quite academically focused. And she was only 14 years old when her life suddenly became the center of national headlines. The family also employed a domestic worker called Hemraj, who had worked for the family for years, and for a very long time he was reported someone as trustworthy. Nothing about the family appeared suspicious. On that morning, Aarushi was found murdered in her very own bedroom with severe head injuries, and that scene shocked the investigators immediately. But what made the situation even more strange was Hemraj, the family servant, was missing, and police had quickly assumed that it was Hemraj that has murdered Aarushi, and then later on he escaped. And almost immediately the media started running that narrative. News channels described Hemraj as the prime suspect. People online and on television started speculating, but then everything changed because Hemraj's body was discovered on the terrace of a Talwar home. And this is where the case gets really weird. People immediately started asking, how could the police even miss a whole dead body on the terrace during the first investigation? That discovery raised serious concerns about how the investigation was being handled. As police investigated further, suspicion slowly shifted from outsiders and towards Aarushi's own parents. Why? Because the police and the investigators got so embarrassed that they missed a whole dead body that they, in order to cover they blamed the whole thing on the parents. And it was one of the police officers at that time whose name was Gurdarshan Singh. He was the one that publicly came on the media and said the parents had done an honor killing. Others claimed that the reason why Aarushi was even murdered in the first place was because Aarushi's parents came and found Aarushi with the servant Hemraj, and the parents were really embarrassed. So what do? They do the honor killing. But many of these claims were based on speculation rather than proven evidence. And the reason why this case became so massive was because the Indian news media covered it non-stop. Every single day they would bring up new theories, new leaks, new accusations, and dramatic television debates. And at one point the public was so confused they weren't even sure what was the actual fact and what was even going on. People were debating, was it the parents, was it outsiders, was it a cover-up, or did the police actually destroy the evidence? The investigation changed hand multiple times. Some investigators believe that the parents were responsible for the murder, and like I said, the reason why they believe is because Gurdarshan Singh came on live TV publicly and said that the parents had done an honor killing. So in order to save his reputation, they had to go along and they had to stick to that conclusion that the parents did commit murder. However, one of the investigation team, who is Ashwin Kumar, a senior joint director of the Central Bureau of Investigation, Ashwin Kumar also showed some evidence and proof that the parents was not responsible. Also, mind you, it's a 14-year-old girl. Why would a 14-year-old girl would sleep with a 45-year-old man? That doesn't make sense, does it? Anyways, there were also reports of contaminated evidence, missing forensic accuracy, and inconsistent timelines. And because there was no clear confession or undeniable proof publicly available, the case became one of a giant battle of theory. In 2013, Aarushi's parents were sentenced to life in prison, but the controversy did not stop there. Many people believe that the evidence against them was circumstantial, and others did believe that the parents were guilty all along. I personally believe that Aarushi Talwar was not murdered by her parents, but I do think that she was murdered by some of the people that was working in her house. And I also do believe that the reason why the parents were framed was because of Gurdarshan Singh. So yeah, that's it for today. This has been a cracked case, and if you guys do want to watch this movie, it is on Netflix called Talwar. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.